Hello my loves, what's up, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video, which is going to be pretty much a get ready with me, but I am going to use quite a few new products that I recently picked up. Most of them like pretty new releases, some of them not as new, but new-ish. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look, what products I used, how they worked for me, all of that good stuff, then just keep on watching. So to preface what we're going to use today, before we get into that, I'm going to use the Rare Beauty Pore Defining Primer. I am going to use the Supergoop Glow Stick Sunscreen. This is new for me. Usually I use the lotion, so got some stuff to talk about there. The Natasha Denona Zendo palette, which I have already done a video on, but kind of wanted to do a different look. Also the Huda Beauty Glow Obsessions palette, which again, I've already done a video on, but kind of wanted to give it another try. If you've seen that video, then you know why. The Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Powder. This is exciting, you guys. I don't want to give too much away, but most exciting product, I think, of today's video. The Fenty Beauty, what is this called exactly? The Bright Fix Eye Brightener. I've got a Too Faced Killer Liner. I've got a Huda Lip Liner, and the rest is going to be just existing products from my collection. So if any of that interests you, if you're wondering how any of these products work for me, maybe you're just curious on how I got this look, I don't know, but let's go ahead and put this on together.
Starting off with some sunscreen, I'm going to use the Supergoop Glow Stick. Let's see, it's SPF 50, which is awesome. This is amazing. I love the way it makes my skin look, and I literally just slather it on directly from the little tube and then just spread it out. I typically go down my neck as well, even though I didn't in this video, but it's always important to also put SPF on your neck. It looks like I did put a little. Going in with the Rare Beauty Pore Diffusing Primer. I think I called it like Pore Defining Primer earlier in the video. We don't want to define our pores. We want to diffuse them. I love this primer. I love the feel. I love the way it makes my foundation go on. I don't know if I see a huge difference as far as pore minimizing or diffusing, but I definitely see a difference when it comes to the application of my foundation. Moving into the foundation, this is going to be the Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation. And you guys, the pump was clogged and I squirted foundation somewhere on my white comforter. Here's the thing, I haven't found it yet. And I can't tell you how much it bugged me the whole video through. So anyways, fun times there. But just dotting this all over my face. This is not a new foundation. I've had this in my collection for a while, but because I didn't have a new foundation to test out with you guys, just figured I'd pull out a classic and then just placing it, or just, what am I trying to say? Just blending it in with my beauty blender. This is actually a Morphe sponge. Not one of my favorites. It was one of the ones from the Lisa Frank collection, but I gotta say, still, the combo of that pore diffusing primer and the glow stick, amazing. Made this foundation go on so nicely, looked so good. Ugh, I was very impressed. Next, going in with the, I was going to say famous, I feel like it's either a love or a hate with this thing, but it's the Bright Fix Eye Brightener by Fenty Beauty. Oh my gosh, the littlest squeeze causes so much to come out. And if you are wondering why I am putting so much on, it's because the stuff keeps coming out. I don't even know what to tell you about that application. I mean, I was like, okay, I guess I'll wipe some of it off on my paper towel. Going in with a brush because I knew I'd heard that this is lighter coverage and I wasn't trying to sheer it out even more. So I did go in with my Rare Beauty concealer brush, and I'm like, wow, this thing is so light. I think I might start looking like a ghost here soon. Don't worry, it all comes together. But let's wipe off the excess first. There's a lot of product, you guys, and a littlest squeeze causes a whole lot to come out. So be careful if you do. Then just gonna blend it out with the beauty blender or the sponge, just so that it blends into my foundation. Once I did that, it made a huge difference. And quite frankly, it concealed my under eyes, which is nuts. I have pretty dark under eye circles, but it also looked really smoothing and brightening, which I had heard people saying that this kind of creased up on them. I never had that issue, guys, all day. I am actually doing this voiceover at 8:25 at night, and it never creased. Going on with the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Powder. This is going to be the star of the show, you guys. I can already tell you. So, the little jar is so weird because the top doesn't look like it's screwed down all the way. It really is. And then, of course, I'm just gotta take the little wrapper off. But anyways, it does have a little net, and I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of. The hourglass, because it's got that little stopper in the middle that sets down where that little net is. So totally reminds me of the hourglass vanish powder. Going in with a smaller It Cosmetics powder, it's actually a concealer brush, but I use it for powder. And you guys, as I'm putting this on, I am getting more and more impressed, more and more exciting at how good it's looking. As an under eye setting powder, this was fantastic. It didn't crease, it didn't make my under eyes look crepey. Wow, what a surprise purchase. These are the kind of makeup dreams, what makeup dreams are made of. Those kind of, hidden gems that you don't think you're going to love as much, and then you're like, wow, this is the best product ever. Shocked. Just over the moon excited at how good this made my face look. 2 thumbs up, not just 1, but 2. Totally worth your time and money. Definitely look into it. If you have been kind of eyeing it, it's worth it. Trust me. So now I'm going to go in with a little bit of bronzer. I'm looking a little light right now. Just going to go in with my LYS bronzer and a Real Techniques bronzing brush. I love this one so much. And I got it at Marshall's some time back. But I am going to go in with quite a bit of bronzer, quite frankly, because I do need to warm up my face. And again, the bronzer just went on so easily on top of this powder. I was so surprised by the time I was done. I was like, that was so easy. I don't look muddy. I just look very airbrushed and put together. And it was pretty effortless, which says a lot about a powder. All right, guys, let's go in with blush. I'm going to use something already in my collection along with a Sephora brush, but this is the Buxom Wanderlust blush. This particular one is in the shade Seychelles. I love these because they have this sheen and this glow that almost makes it look like a blush and a highlight in one. Probably could have even forgotten the highlight, but that's okay. Just kind of adding some like right close to my nose and on the bridge of my nose, just so it looks like I have a little bit of sun, a little flush. And then going in with the Huda Glow Obsessions palette. This is the medium one. And it fits my skin tone just fine. It's just that second one I definitely have to use as a blush. So I'm going to go in with the third shade in the palette, which is the lower left. And I'm just going to place this down with my Anastasia A23. I'm not layering today because if you've watched my video on these palettes, you know that these kind of sit like a powder on top of my skin, especially if I layer. So going in one at a time is best. And then of course my huge, the nose, the chin, the brow. Gotta highlight it all. So let's start on the eyes with the P. Louise base. I think this one is in shade, it's either 1 or 1.5, but I put too much, so I did have to end up blending it out a little bit with a brush I intended to use with an eyeshadow. So let's go into the Zendo palette. I am moving fast. I gotta catch up with myself here. So going in with the shade Mantra, that is one of the cream to powder shadows, and a Real Techniques smaller blending brush. It's like more detailed. And I like it because I can really get into my crease and be a little bit more specific. So I'm taking that in my crease and the outer portion of my lid. Following into Relief, which is a matte shade, and I'm actually going to work in little sections to kind of make this my quote-unquote transition color, but I didn't put it down first. So I just want it to peek through is the reason that I am doing it this way. And I'm working it in sections so that it doesn't get too messy. Going in with my Fenty Pro Filter Eye Primer. This, of course, you know is a tacky base because that means I am going to go in with a metallic shade. Using my finger, I'm going to go in with the shade Flow, and I purposely chose this shade because of the eyeliner we're going to use in a little while, so definitely wanted a blue moment. Going in with a flat Morphe brush, and I'm just placing a little more down, especially up into the crease where I couldn't get into there with my finger, and then adding a little bit more, just for a little bit added punch over what I had already put down. So I'm going to go back into that little detail brush, add a little bit more of that Mantra shade, and kind of replace what I lost when I put down that metallic shade. So really just kind of bringing out a little bit more of the sultry, a little bit more of the smoky, because again, that totally got lost in translation. Now, let's go into the shade Vigor. This is going to go kind of in between that metallic and that Mantra shade, and I wanted a little bit of added depth, and so that's why I went in with this reddish type of matte, and it was exactly what I had hoped it would be. As far as the look goes, it just tied it all together, gave it an extra punch of smokiness. It was just perfect. Going in with an IT Cosmetics, I think it's like a smudger brush, and going in with that Mantra shade, just placing this down on my lower lash line just to tie it all together and add a little bit more smoky. Going in with the Too Faced Killer Liner. This is Killer Turquoise. I don't know. Kind of like at this point, I don't know if I have high hopes for it or not. I don't know what to think, just because eyeliners, if I put them in my waterline, especially ColourPop, they'll get on my contact lenses, and it's very disappointing. It's uncomfortable. Anyways. So this one went on pretty easily. It did tug slightly, but I feel like that kind of shows that it's going to stay a little bit. I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe that doesn't mean anything, but I have to say, very impressed. These actually lasted until I took my makeup off. So lashes are done. I'm going to go back into that Glow Obsessions palette and place the very lightest shade in my inner corner, because the Zendo palette doesn't really have something that I wanted to put in my inner corner, not something super bright like this. So this was actually very perfect. And then lastly, we're going to go in with a Huda lip liner. This is in the shade Vivid Pink. This is part of her lip contour line. And I purchased this shade with the intent to use all over my lips, not just as a lip liner. I mean, at times I will, but I just loved the shade as an all over lip color, and it did not disappoint. The formula was great. Little bit of a tug, so I did end up, you're going to see here shortly, we're going to go in with a gloss, but the color, beautiful, and it lasted for quite some time, even after having put a gloss over top. So we're going to go in with Pat McGrath. This is called Aliengelic. It's part of her lip gloss collection. It's permanent, and this really does bring out a lip color to its fullest, and it is so mirror-like. It was the perfect combination. So guys, that's it. That's the look for today using my new products.
Well, that brings us to the end of the demo, or of the get ready with me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some inspiration from it, but more than that, I hope that maybe one of these products that has been calling your name, that demo kind of helped solidify your decision on whether you need it or not. But I will take you through just a few final thoughts. I always try to go into detail as I do the voiceover, just so that as it is happening, you know how it's working for me, but I still want to give you just a quick little overview. This primer is absolutely wonderful. I love it so much. I actually love it more than the illuminating primer. That one is okay. This one takes it to a whole nother level. And I'm really not one for more silicone-ish or silicone feeling primers. This one is just, I don't know, there is something in this just works for me. So smooths my skin over. I don't know that I see a huge pore minimizing aspect, but the way it makes my makeup go on is just flawless. And then the glow stick, I actually like this very much. I don't know if it will replace my lotion. I feel like that's in a class by itself. It is so amazing. This is a really good option though. I don't know that I would recommend it for oily skin ladies, just because it is kind of like an oil stick, basically. I love looking like a glazed donut, but I also don't have oily skin, so it probably works in my favor that way. But do love this for like on the go. If you need to travel, throw this in your bag and you've got SPF 50. Let's see, going into the powder. Oh my gosh. I mean, the start of the show, I did not expect to love this much, especially because I am not a mattifying powder type of girl. This took my skin to flawless so fast. I was just so mesmerized, and quite frankly, the fact that it worked so well under my eyes is huge, because some of them are a little bit more finicky under my eyes. They can make my skin look crepey. They can, you know, it just kind of depends on what concealer you use, what powder you use with it. This, not only under eyes, all over my face, absolutely flawless, just beautiful. I am so impressed. This was the winner for me as far as new products tried out today. As far as my last Sephora haul, this takes the cake. Now, granted, I haven't used the Ilia one yet, but I mean, for me not having super high expectations, this is chef's kiss. And then I have to say, I'm really impressed on the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix. Maybe I had heard so many negative things about it that I just did not have high hopes either. But wow, this, for being light coverage, everyone was saying it's light coverage. For being light coverage, it sure covered my deeper under eye circles. My under eye circles have gotten bad. They didn't used to be this bad. So sometimes I find it hard to really find something to, I don't know, I feel like I'm sounding redundant right now, but I find it hard to get something to cover them up. You know, it's like I go in and I'm like, I still see shadow. Anyways, this was amazing. I will say though, it is light as far as like, I was like, how am I going to blend this out? Once I blended it out, it was perfection. Now, I probably could stand to go one deeper, but I think, so this is an 01, and I think the next one after this for my tone is like 06. So, and it's the light medium. I'm a little scared to go that far down the road, but anyways, love. I will say though, this applicator, okay, the applicator itself is great, but you can't squeeze a little bit out. Like you squeeze hardly and this whole bunch comes out. That's why I had so much under my eyes. You're probably like, why are you putting so much on? No, it comes out that way. So that's the only thing I wish was a little bit different, but anyways, that's great. And then the Zendo palette, y'all know my thoughts on this already. I love this palette. This ranks up there with all her others that are just amazing quality. Just, I love the price point of this. I love her cream to powder shadows. So like the deep green that I used right here is a cream to powder shadow, and I love it so much. We all have different tastes, and so that's why I'm like sometimes, man, I wonder why people don't like these. But then they probably say the same thing about, you know, those of us who do like them. So it's, you know, we all have different tastes and preferences. I love this palette. It is so good. And yeah, you can create some really amazing, sultry, just beautiful, enticing looks with that palette. So the eyeliner, okay, remains to be seen the longevity. As of right now, and I am probably about 15 minutes in from having put it on, has not transferred onto my contacts. That is my number one thing, because eyeliners, if I put them in my waterline, especially the ColourPop, they just start transferring onto my contacts, ruins my contacts, because it's not something I can get out with solution by rubbing all of that. Like it is permanently adhered to that contact lens, and my contacts aren't cheap. So I've had to do away with all of those pretty much. So I was really intrigued to see if this would not only stay in my waterline, but also not transfer onto my contacts, that being the number one. So far, so good. No transfer, and so far we're still rocking this on the waterline. Hold on, let me check one more time. Yeah, we're still, I mean, it's still there. I think it just remains to be seen what happens during the day. 36 hours, absolutely not. Like, I don't wear my makeup that long, but we'll see. We'll see, but so far, very promising. The lip liner, I picked such a good shade. I am so excited. I did pick this shade, Vivid Pink, in the intent to wear it all over my lips as an all over lip color, and I am absolutely over the moon, overjoyed that this is the shade that I picked up. If I like how it wears throughout the day, I will pick up more. This is so pretty. It was easy to put on. It was creamy, but with a little bit of tug, like to let you know that it's gonna stay. I did need a gloss because my lips, as soon as I put it on, my lips kind of dried a little bit, and I needed something to kind of re-moisturize, and I love the look. As far as a lip liner, I don't think it would, obviously you're not putting it all over your lips, so it shouldn't feel drying or anything, but beautiful. I'm so excited about this. And then lastly is the highlight palette, which again, I've already done a video on. The reason I wasn't crazy about these is that they sit on top of my skin. They don't really melt in. And I found that to be the same thing today. I mean, I've used these multiple times at this point, and I find the same thing. Now, they do look very pretty from, you know, a distance, like you're looking at me, kind of, you know. But they do, and I don't even know if you're gonna be able to tell at this point, but they do sit over top of my skin. It's looking a little bit more blended. It's looking a little better right now. But then again, not like the last video, I didn't layer different ones on here. I just used the one, which helped. However, I could already tell as I was putting it on, it does sit over top like a just layer on the skin. Also, probably also depends on what setting powder you use, because I did find it to be a little bit less today, and I used that Urban Decay powder, so that may have something to do with it as well. I think they're pretty. I wouldn't say, don't let my opinion turn you completely off to them. Yes, they sit over top of the skin, but if you use one at a time instead of layering, it's a lot better. And they do pack a punch. They're very pretty. It's just that one little thing that drives me crazy. But I mean, for $29 and you get 4 different shades in here, I mean, I don't think it's bad. So I still would hold on to them, you know, even knowing what I know, even with that little aspect. I'm glad that I picked them up. So anyways, I hope that helps. I hope that something in here was beneficial, whether it be just inspiration or a little nugget of information on one of these products. But either way, guys, thanks for spending time with me today. Before I let you go, just want to give you a very quick verse of the day. So today's verse comes from John 8:31 and 32, and it says, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." It is my prayer that if you don't already know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, that he would make himself so real, so evident to you, that your heart would just be overwhelmed with his presence, with a peace, a love, and a joy that you have never experienced before, that there would be no doubt in your mind that it is him who's knocking on the door of your heart. He is an absolutely amazing gentleman. He is, I can't speak his praises enough. He is most wonderful. He is everything in my life, and it is my prayer that you would come to know him in that way as well. Alrighty, friends. Well, thank you again for stopping by. Thanks for chatting makeup with me today. I always enjoy spending time with you. Please know that Jesus loves you so very much, and so do I. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe and stay well. See you soon. Bye, guys.